What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another Talon video. Just got the car all loaded up, got my transmission in the back, got all the tools, got beer, got fluids. We're pretty much ready to go. I have a couple stops to make. We need to go get some oil for the car and a couple of little things like a funnel and stuff like that for changing the diff fluids and the T-case fluids. I just remembered I need to grab my T-case too. I have another T-case that I'm gonna put on the car this time, and I don't think I've brought it over. Let's see. Okay, now we have my other T-case. I haven't even shown you guys this car yet. This is my 2013 Mazda 3. I actually bought this car brand new back in 2013 due to some circumstances. I ended up selling it to my dad. It's a 6-speed manual. I put about 100,000 miles on it in the first 3 or 4 years I had it, and then I sold it to him. But I've had it back now for a little over a month, so it's nice to have it back. I do enjoy this car. I have missed it, but I gotta close the garage and then let's get on the road. So like I said, we have a couple of quick stops to make. I need to get some coffee because it's early and it's only 42 degrees outside. So I need something warm. And then we are going to go to Walmart. Don't really like Walmart, but they have really good oil and they have good prices on oil. So I'm going to go get my oil there because I believe they carry Valvoline VR1, which is what I'm going to be swapping to this year. So gotta get it where you get it. Just wanted to show you guys this too. This is my 4th gear. I have those missing teeth actually. They're in my garage. So I don't know how I did that and didn't break this whole thing. Only broke 2 teeth off and still was able to drive it. Talk about lucky. Well, I swear that online they said they had it, but instead we're gonna go with this Rotella T5 10W30. This is actually what I ran before in my car, so this will be fine. So we got our oil. I also picked up some distilled water because if you didn't know, that's all I run in my cooling system. I don't run any kind of coolant or anything. So yeah, let's get on the road. Here we are. Alright, so we're in the shop, we're getting going. Got my brake lines here. A couple of you were asking me about these, about how everything fits with the new master cylinder. Here's the new flare that you need. This is a bubble flare, I believe. I took mine to a shop that I commonly go to and just had them flared because I didn't feel like doing it myself. And this is the flare that was originally on it. So you can tell it's very different, and it might work if you just screwed them in, but I didn't want to roll that way. So let's go ahead and install these and see how it all goes together. Alright, so the brake lines are in. There's this one and this one. They both run. They're kind of jank, but it's okay. If you guys are wondering, this is a 3G master cylinder. I'm still using my 1G reservoir. The rubber grommets do not fit the same, so I actually have zip ties right here that are holding them on. It should be fine. They're super sturdy, like they're not moving anywhere. There's a wire that goes from the harness to the sensor that's in the bottom of this reservoir, and there's one on the new one as well, but the reservoir mounts here and the sensor's right here and the wire isn't long enough. So instead of making that wire longer, I decided to just go this route, and if it leaks, I'll replace it. If not, then I'm gonna run it. I think it should be just fine though. The next thing we'll be doing is the timing belt. So if you guys remember from my video of doing the head gasket, there's a timing mark right here, 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 and here. So if you count the ribs from here all the way across to this timing mark, it's gonna be 39. So that's how I'm gonna set that up. I still have my crankshaft pulley in the timing mark, and the oil pump is also on the timing mark. So I'm gonna get this belt set up and we're gonna put it on. Alright, so it took me a little bit to figure it out, but I finally got everything situated. So what ended up happening is, if you remember, I had a piece of wire in this hole holding it. Well, the wire ended up bending, so that little rod was pushing up a little bit farther, so I wasn't able to pull out my piece of wire. So what I did was I compressed this tensioner in a vise, and then I found an Allen wrench that fit it perfectly. So as you can see right now, it still goes in and out. It's a little tight, but it still goes in and out. And I also had this actually facing the wrong way. So now it's on there right. Luckily I took pictures of everything before I took the belt off because that really helped me. So now the next thing that I'll have to do is go ahead and crank it over and make sure that I can still stick my Allen wrench through this. About 4 times is what is recommended, so let's give it a shot, see if I did everything right, and then we'll be able to move on. Alright, so after quite a bit of messing around with it, everything's good. I've already rotated it a few times. It's sitting perfect. I can get my little Allen wrench through this every single time. So I'm gonna call this good. It feels exactly like it did before, and it looks exactly like it did before. I'm happy. So now the timing belt's on. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lower timing cover on. Now I cut my lower timing cover because it was broken already. And I don't run the upper timing cover usually because I don't really drive this car much and I'm not really all that worried about it. Maybe someday I'll do something different, but for now I'm just gonna put what I have back on it. Alright, so that timing cover is on. I'm gonna go ahead and put my water pump pulley on and my crank pulley on. Alright, so I have my turbo all put together. The O2 housing on it, we got the coolant lines on it, we got the oil line on it, I got the drain fitting on it. It's ready to get bolted to the motor. I'm gonna go over here. I already have my bolts in place. Let's get that put on. Now that the turbo is on, it's time to put the flywheel on. So I have the cherry picker ready. I have my new flywheel sitting here. I just cleaned up the surface a little bit. Should be good. I got all my bolts. I got my red Loctite and I have my torque wrench. So these bolts are going to get tightened to 100 foot-pounds with red Loctite on them. So let's do it. I had Matt come out and help me to hold the other side of the crank so that we could get the flywheel bolts torqued. Then I went to put the clutch on and I discovered I did not have a clutch alignment tool. So I want to show you guys what I'm using because this is actually going to work really good. So this is a 10mm socket. I found out that this fits into the flywheel perfectly. So then what I did was I wrapped it. You can kind of see it ever so slightly. I wrapped it in electrical tape and then basically pounded the clutch over it and it fits perfectly. So that's how I'm gonna get my clutch aligned without a clutch alignment tool. There we go. So yeah, basically that's all it is, just a bunch of tape on a socket. So now we're gonna put the clutch fork and the new throw-up bearing on. My old throw-up bearing was going bad, so I ordered a brand new one, like even before my transmission blew up. This right here is the little ball that goes in here that your clutch fork pivots on. So now when Phil and I were talking, I told him I had a third gear grind when you kind of like slam it into third. So he told me I should shim it. So I found a little crush washer. That's what I'm gonna use. That gets installed right here. And that's gonna give it just a little bit more throw in the clutch pedal. So here we have our brand new OEM throw-up bearing. Part number here if you're interested. These things are like 70 bucks, I think. But really the only throw-up bearing you should run. And this is known as the Jesus clip. And I'm going to show you why. So you see this little clip right here? You can see it right there. That's the only thing that holds your throw-up bearing to your arm. So if that clip were to break, dunzo! So I didn't film a whole lot of this because it was a lot of me just fumbling for bolts because somehow I misplaced all my tranny bolts. But transmission's on, it's bolted on. I got the starter on, I got this motor mount on. Again, lost one of the bolts, so I'm gonna have to find one of those. Should be ready to go. Drop it in. Got Matthew over there, he's gonna help me. And yeah, we're just gonna get this thing in. There we go. Didn't really film the putting in of it, but it's in. Went in all right. All right, so that's gonna be pretty much everything for this video. We got the engine in, we got the brake lines in. What else did we do? I don't know, we did a few things. But the biggest thing is that the engine is in, and man, it is definitely coming together. I, at this point, really, truly just cannot wait to drive this thing. All this work, I just want to drive the car. There's a sweet little shot of my big front mount intercooler. If you guys haven't seen it before too, I was showing Matt this earlier. I actually have this little air deflector under here because I wasn't getting air to my radiator, so I had to deflect air there. But yeah, it works really well. My temps have been perfect, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Stay tuned to the next one because we'll be putting everything back together and just kind of, you know, getting everything ready to drive it. And then the first drive video will be coming very soon. So thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to see you come back, and I hope to see you in the next video.